Kraven, the hunter. What does he think sitting on that epic throne? He thinks, why did they make this movie? Why waste your Aaron Taylor Johnson and your Russell Crowe? Why waste the Rhino? Why any of this? So if you saw my out of the theater reaction last night, I'm sure so many of you did. In fact, I'm actually just going to check real quick how many of you guys actually watched an out of theater reaction for Kraven last night from me. I know I watched an out of theater reaction last night, not from me, obviously, from one of the people I watch. And what my initial take was like, no, this is not a perfect movie. In fact, I would hesitate to say it's good, but it's hardly there's good enough stuff in there that I was entertained. Now, do I still stand by there's enough stuff in there that I was entertained? Yes. But recapping, reorganizing my thoughts now I've had a chance to sleep on it, this is a bad movie. What kills me most about how bad this movie is, and it's bad. I heard one of the people I watched say, it's worse than Madam Web. I'm like, it is not worse than Madam Web. You want to know why? He's giving a damn in this movie. No one gave a damn in that movie. Save for Michael Scott, Ben Wyatt. Why am I Alan Scott or something like that? Save for him. More people gave a damn in this movie than Madam Web. The effects overall look better in this movie than Madam Web. Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit, but do not say this is worse than that. Look, it's subjective. You think it's worse than Madam Web, fine. It's not worse than Madam Web. No. Is it worse than Morbius? Ooh. That's a tougher call because more people gave a damn in Morbius. There are some fun elements in Morbius. I can follow. There's at least a plot in Morbius. Ooh. I'll say this. The stuff that's good in this movie is better than the stuff that's good in Morbius. The stuff that's bad in this movie, though, may be worse than the stuff in Morbius. I know, those two are kind of... Either way, though, as I was about to say, the thing I think that bothers me the most is the element... You have the pieces here for a good movie. You do. You have Aaron Taylor Johnson, who is one of the good parts of the movie. You have the base of a story where obviously his dad's a crime boss. The weakness. You cannot have weakness, Kraven. No, you cannot have weakness. You only said that about 50 times. I'm hyperbole, but not by much. You have his relationship with his brother, who we know is the chameleon. They flat out say it a lot of the time. So I'm not going to try to spoil too much, but I am going to be a little bit more light on the spoilers here because I have to talk about some things here. He has an accident involving a lion, which is at least explained that it's not like a radioactive lion. There was other elements involved, but it's still like, what? And then he's enhanced. He's more powerful. I'm more powerful because our Kraven doesn't speak with a Russian accent, except the one scene in the movie where except the opening scenes in the movie where he speaks Russian perfectly fine. Even in the trailer, even as someone's probably going to be a bit more forgiving of some of the movie here, I still don't get why our Kraven isn't actually Russian. Well, no, his dad's Russian. I don't give a shit. Kraven the Hunter's Russian. His name is Sergei Kravenov, or Kraven in this case. So he should be Russian. He should speak like this. If you ever played the Amazing Spider-Man 2, or what was it? I got the game over here, like the one where you're playing as the 4 different Spider-Man. That's how Kraven. If you ever watched the animated series, that's how Kraven's supposed to sound. But yeah. And you have the Rhino here, an animal-themed supervillain from Spider-Man. Would make a great initial foil to Kraven. So you have the elements there for an interesting movie. But something got lost in the translation. Something I heard someone say is, what is the actual story of this movie? Because it changes. It's him wanting to
not having to deal with his father. Now he's got a list of people that he goes after. Now it's him saving his brother. Now it's him, and now it's him like protecting, this. I mean, like it's him killing these. There's just there's no story going on through this. Now, before I continue on to the problems, let's actually talk about the things I do think work in the movie. Aaron Taylor Johnson, take out the lack of accent. I think I can see the Kraven. Look at that image there is Kraven. That is Kraven. It'd be great if this image was actually in the movie, more than 15 seconds. That's something I'm willing to spoil. Sony, I enjoy the Venom movies. Even the last one, I thought it was the weakest, but I still enjoyed it. Still actually ended up making a profit. But Sony, what the fuck? This is the second time that you have been shown stuff in your trailers that was legitimately not in the movie. And if it were cut from the movie, that's fine. Like, for example, the Michael Keaton stuff from Morbius, that was clearly baiting the audience. That was clearly lying to the audience. Let's be honest. But you can at least see how the movie, for example, plays out. You can kind of see where those scenes might have fit. There is those scenes where it's like when the man comes around with that awesome trailer. It's not a good movie, but it was still an awesome trailer. But yeah, where he lights the spear on fire. He's hunting in the woods. There is nothing at all in this movie that would remotely indicate that was originally in this movie. That was shot completely for promotion. And Sony, why? Now I'm going to talk more about this at the end of the video, because I think it indicates a problem with Sony. But the point is this shot, as cool as it looks, it's only in the movie for about 15 seconds. But that being said, he's ripped. Holy crap, he is in good shape. He's got the imposing figure. There is that cool shot you see in the trailer where he comes out of the shower and his eyes are glowing. That's a damn cool visual. He's got that. He's also got a little charm to him. He's got that almost like a little nonchalant cavalier level to him. So Aaron Taylor Johnson is good. Okay, thumbs up. There's a thumbs up. Now why don't we just go back and forth? Now, a problem with Aaron Taylor Johnson that everyone has is the script. Oh my God, that first scene, not the first scene, that's not right. But the early flashback we get, but yeah, the flashback we get 16 years earlier. But yeah, some of the weakest dialogue I have heard in a while. I was watching, there's a scene involving Calypso, I can't remember who she's in I think either Emmy or Oscar winner. But anyway, the young Calypso, the one we see him with in the trailer, talking to her grandmother. It's oh, you're playing with those tarot cards, huh? And it's oh yeah. Oh, we want to give you something. Here, it's your birthday. Yeah, our legacy. It's a potion. The fuck? Randomness? Aaron Taylor is trying his damnedest. He is. And I think he's the only one who can come out of this movie with some cred. His brother, Demetrius, who was the chameleon, I think he's one of the other actors who at least is trying his best with the script he has. Russell Crowe is mostly kind of sleepwalking a bit. I wouldn't say sleepwalking. That's not true. It's just that the script is shit. It's basic information. The amount of times he talks about weakness, not having weakness. Your mother was weak. And I get it. Strong, male, Russian crime boss. I get it. And we get it. So stop it, please. Oh, some of Calypso's dialogue, not good. It's just not. Rhino's dialogue, oh God, some of that is just. There's some jokes. There's a couple jokes with him that actually kind of work a little bit. He's got these weird mannerisms. I'm expecting a nostalgia critic review of this, by the way, because this is a bad one. This is bad. The more I'm talking about it, the more I realize, this is bad. So yeah, script's not good. Now the action, when we get it, the action is actually pretty good. Is it like the groundbreaking John Wick of the comic book universe? No. Is it, when it does happen, is it visceral, violent, fun? Yeah. I think the highlight action sequence a lot of people have kind of agreed is that car chase sequence you see in the first trailer where he's chasing down the car and then the helicopter that turns into a helicopter sequence. And that's actually a really good action sequence, like a legitimately good action sequence. And the scene where he's like going Rambo in the forest, that's cool too. His fight with the Rhino, I'm not going to lie, is underwhelming to say the least. Like why don't we sidetrack that? Why don't we parlay that into my problem with the Rhino? Because first off, and parlay that also with my problem with the rest of the action is good, but for a 2-hour movie, there's not enough of it, and it moves by surprisingly fast. Except for that like 3 to 4 minute action sequence, like maybe 5-minute action sequence, all the rest of it feels like it's done in under a minute. So like when there is action, I think it's good, but it's just gone too quick. It's gone. And then the Rhino, which, you know what, let's parlay the Rhino actually also into another problem. The CGI for the animals is sometimes not bad. I thought the lion effect was actually all right. The snow leopard, not so much. And the wolf did not look that good. But the CGI of the Rhino, well, first off, the CGI, oof. Like at first I'm like, oh, I saw the trailer, like that looked pretty good, but then I realized we only saw like a brief snippet of him as the Rhino. When you actually see him as the Rhino, it actually looks pretty stupid. Like he's supposed to be a lot bigger, and like it's comic book and it's trying to be realistic, I guess. But the actor, I'm like, okay, first off, this is not the Rhino. Like this guy is not the Rhino. Rhino's not necessarily a very intelligent individual. He's not a complete idiot or anything. He's a hired thumb. He has this. He had a procedure that basically kind of melded this suit to his body, more or less. Here, it's more, oh, I have this condition. I found a doctor. He allowed me to do. He gave me something, so I take this so I don't turn into the thing. Why? Because it hurts being the Rhino. I'm sorry, what? It hurts to be the Rhino. Okay. And I'm not going to say what ends up happening, but the Rhino will not be back. Look, you don't have anything past Kraven lined up right now, which again, I'll talk more about that near the end. But so you want to at least try to leave as many avenues available to have characters return, because this is supposed to be a shared Spider-Man-less universe. Right? Because let's think about it for a second. The Venom films, none of them have connected with any of the Morbius or Madam Web. Morbius has non-Venom related Spider-Man stuff like the Vulture, and I think he says, I am Venom once, so he's heard of Venom. That's it. Madam Web didn't connect at all. And now Kraven's not connecting with anything except trying to introduce individuals and not. So Sony said they had plans for Null. I was so happy to hear that. And now I'm like, God almighty, please tell me you're going to give the rights to Null, let Marvel use Null. Because I'm not going to see one of my favorite villains in Marvel history for at least probably another 10 years. And that drives me insane. Again, I'm going to go on a tangent at the end of it. So yeah, the Rhino's a waste. A lot of these characters, everything just feels ultimately like a waste. You add a good actor who's doing his damnedest with what he's got. The action sequences are solid. There's even occasionally some dialogue that's okay. Like there's some interactions with him. Like he has a final scene with his father that, even though the dialogue is a little like whatever, I actually kind of like the scene. Like you knew what was going to happen, but you're like, that's kind of how that should play out. That scene you see in the trailer where he finds the poacher, he swings through, he turns around in the chair and he fires the crossbow. That's a good scene. I like that scene. There's a collection of moments in this film that something could have been made from. But you're trying to introduce characters and you're not. They also have this, by the way, character called the Foreigner who's like a secondary villain. His powers are never actually really explained. He's got this ability to like make it seem like time's paused, but it's not. And He goes 1, 2, 3, and then he kills you or whatever. And I'm like, I know my Marvel comics pretty well. I know Spider-Man. I even know some of Spider-Man's more obscure roles. Let's see, The Foreigner. Hold on. Foreigner. Oh, The Foreigner. Marvel. Okay. Is this an actual character? Hold on. Okay, so The Foreigner is in fact a Marvel character. Okay. He's a mercenary. Hypnotic Black. Okay, so that's what it is. So I will bow my head on saying that this is in fact a legitimate character. He's a master martial artist, weapons master, disguise mastery, archery, peak human condition. Yeah, this guy's not peak human condition. But apparently his ability is hypnotic blackout. Foreigner has the ability to induce a 10-second hypnotic trance in someone by making eye contact with them. By using this ability, he can make... Go away, ad. Trying to actually learn something here from the comics that I didn't already know about. By using this ability, he can make an opponent believe he can move at super fast speeds, or by running from the scene while they're entranced. He can fool them into thinking he can teleport himself away. Okay, now is he a mutant? Or... Because it's an interesting power. Let's see. Foreigner, name, current alias, origins, living status. Trying to figure out if he's he's just a human. So he's a metahuman of some kind. Okay. Okay, you know what? So the Foreigner. Oh, I'm lagging a little bit there. Oh, I'm lagging quite a bit. There we go. I'm back. So the Foreigner is in fact a legit Marvel character. Wonderful. Why the hell is he in this movie? What? He makes no sense to be a character in a Kraven movie. You know who makes sense to be? The Rhino makes sense. The Scorpion makes sense. Hell, even Vulture makes some level of sense. The Chameleon, who is his brother, makes sense. They're animal themed. That all makes sense. Why is this weird hypnotic assassin dude here? I don't... Maybe I was expecting too much, hoping too much. Like, I had heard the reviews weren't great. Apparently, they're really bad. Let me actually see where they're currently standing. They're that bad. Like, this film might not even be the #1 movie at the box office this week. That's how bad these reviews and this reaction is. Now, the actual audience reaction I saw actually isn't as bad. It's like high 60s, low 70s last I knew. Yeah, but putting like I said, so the script is bad. They're the action when it's there is good, but it's just gone too quick. The characters' motivations, I'm not even sure what the motivation frickin' is. And then trying to explain all this shit. Like, okay, wait, what? Okay, so Kraven got his powers from a serum, a potion that Calypso had. Which she just, this is important. Don't waste it. Okay, I'm gonna give it to this kid I found who's dying. By the way, the connection with the lion, what the hell is that about? Wow. Holy crap. They actually, this is impressive, and not in a good way. I don't know if the studio asked for this or Rotten Tomatoes did this, but with 93 reviews, they don't have a critic score going on right now. They took out either it's working, which I don't think so because I saw other films on here that have it. So Kraven does apparently have a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not shown in its actual tomato meter. You actually have to go to What to Watch to find it, but it's 15%. Now, apparently it does have a 70% audience rating. That's legitimately not bad. I mean, you'd hope for better, but that's legitimately not bad. I just don't know how many people are going to go see it. I had 6 total people, including myself, in my theater. But yeah, they just are, they're doing so much exposition dumping, and it's not a well-made film. It's coming from a guy who, I can't remember who directed it, but I know he's directed some better films, a lot of better films. It's coming from a guy, if I remember, let me find out, Kraven. Oh, actually, I should have it right here. The director. Cast, crew, here we go. Yeah, J.C. Chandor. What? I know that name. So let me see what else he's directed. Hold on. Let's see. All's Lost, Manos, Oh no, here we go. Kraven, Run This Town, Monos, Triple Frontier, All Is Lost. Okay, so these are like the director screamer, or he's directed a couple films. So yeah, he's definitely done. I don't know many of these other films, but from what I understand, some of them are good. There's a guy who's got talent. The writers are actually pretty solid compared to some of the other ones. So what happened here? What actually happened here? Was there just no vision and there was just a mandate? Is that what happened? So look, is this the worst film of the year? No, I don't think so. Is it a good film? No, I don't think so. Is it going to be on my worst film of the list here? Quite possibly. I mean, like the more I sat with it, the more I'm like, yeah, this isn't a good movie. This is not a good movie. It's, again, I do think it's better than Madam Web. I mean, that is not a high bar you need to reach, but it's still better than, like, Morbius, I think, is better than Madam Web. And again, it's all I care about with something being better than Madam Web is, was a damn given? And at least some level of damn was given on this film. But look, let me talk about the trailers real quick. We got that weird Sweethearts, Hard Eyes, which is like a serial killer Valentine's Day movie, which, all right, that's fine. Companion, which I'm still not 100% sure what that film's about. My guess is robbery, Fatal Attraction, sociopathy, all that crap. Nosferatu, we got that trailer. Looking forward to that. The Fireside. That's the movie based off the real story about a boxer from Flint, Michigan. That's that one. That looked good. I'm not trying to think of everything else that's coming out that I can remember that I got the trailer. Oh, 28 years later. That's an intense trailer, man. I give those movies credit. They're not my cup of tea, but I give them credit. They are solid in terms of how they advertise themselves. So yeah, that's the. So there you go. Now, as I promised at the end, my now time for my TED Talk. So Sony is in a very odd spot right now. I was watching someone who I watch about their opinion about asking about the question of why Sony should give Marvel the right, or sell Marvel the rights to Spider-Man back, and why they shouldn't. They said they shouldn't. Now, a lot of people are going to be coming out here saying yes, they should. And what their argument for sure is that they're still, when you factor in all their gains versus losses, they're still up like $700 and something million. And when it comes down to this, I have two thoughts. One, right now, no. Sony should not give Spider-Man back to Marvel. Not right now. They are nowhere near in the same spot that DC was in, and DC needed to be rebooted. Spider-Man is still too much of a cash cow for them to let it go. Yes, we have had 3 big misfires. And we've had 2 big successes, one huge success, middle finger, one huge success, and that be the thumbnail. But the 3 Venom movies have all made money. In fact, if you do the math on it real quick, the 3 Venom movies together are over it's about 1 point, I want to say 7 billion, roughly. Yes. Oh, actually, no. Because it's around 860 for the first Venom. Second Venom made around 507, and right now the third one stands at about 470 something. So if I do the basic math on there, 922, that's 5. So 9. So it's actually about 1.8 billion between the 3 Venom films. So that's a lot of money. And they also have the Spider-Verse films. Now, if you're someone saying that they should sell the rights back to Spider-Man, back to Marvel, you're someone who's saying you don't want to see any more Spider-Verse films. That's what you're saying, because those don't get made under Marvel's banner. They get made under Sony's banner. And I don't mean that in the sense that that's where they're being made. I mean, if they were under Marvel, Spider-Man was under Marvel, we would not have gotten those films, because they focus on the MCU. They don't do Elseworld stuff very much. Occasionally they had that with like the special presentation spotlight stuff, which they're not doing anymore, which is stupid, because Werewolf by Night was great. The Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special was fantastic. So Give us more of those, please, but they're not going to do it. So, no, they should not sell Spider-Man back. But Sony, if you're not going to do something, like if you're not like going to be, if you're not going to be doing something with like Spider-Man, if you're not gonna like say work out a deal that Null becomes the bad guy in one of the Marvel films coming up, if you're not gonna do something like that, then you really need to consider what the fuck you're doing with your properties, because you're losing the respect of the audience. Because when you false market your material, that makes us not trust you as an audience. You did it with Morbius, and not a lot of people went to Morbius anyway, and it wasn't a very good film. And you did it with Kraven again. You've done it twice now. You're trying to get us in the seats by showing us stuff that isn't in the movie, and that's just blatant lying. Now, I will still see the next Sony movie. I do this, but also I'm a comic fan. I do want to try to see. I want to see these movies, and I want to see these characters on screen. But whether or not I see it isn't the problem, or the diehards like me go see it. The question is whether or not the general public goes to see it, whether or not you're able to get interest from them. And if you keep lying and throwing out shit after shit products, you're not going to get them to come back. What the fuck is your vision, Sony? That's the question. That is the problem, and that's what's pissing me off. Marvel had a clear-cut vision from start to continuation. Have they had to pivot in recent years a little bit? Absolutely. But they still have a vision. And from everything we can tell, Doomsday's still going to pretty much end the multiverse saga where they want it. It's just going to do it in a different way than what the Kang Dynasty was going to do. Even the Snyderverse, let's just call it the DCEU. Even the DCEU had an initial vision to it. It did. Now, it went off the rails after a while, but it initially had a vision. What was your vision for the Sonyverse? Because as far as I can tell, you had none. You had no direction. You just said, let's make movies, and then we'll try to tie it in down the road. Don't tell me you've got plans for a really cool villain, and then, have nothing lined up after this. Don't tell me you got plans for something and then go back on it because one movie fails. Stick to your guns, stick to your vision, and try to make the best movie you can. And with Morbius, with Madam Web, and now with Kraven, I don't understand why you're letting these films be made the way. No, it's because it's the director who makes the film, but you still get to look at the dailies, all that, and try to look at it and go, oh yeah, that's good. That will make us money. And whoever's the person doing that, they need to be fired. Sorry, their taste in movies, it's not good because you've had two movies. Madam Web didn't even clear 100 million. Morbius at least made like 165. And now Kraven very possibly won't cross 100 million. So, do I think Sony should sell Spider-Man back? No, hell no. Not now. They're not in a spot even remotely close enough to be needing to sell Spider-Man off. They still have the Spider-Verse, which does make money and is acclaimed. So you got that going. They still are joint partners with Marvel with the Spider-Man films, which make them bank. They got like a $300-400 check for Spider-Man 4 or Spider-Man 3 because they're distributors. So they get a nice chunk of the profit of that. So they have made a shit ton of money just in this Marvel deal alone. So it behooves them to keep the Marvel deal going. And let's be honest, we want Spider-Man still in the MCU. He gets to be in the MCU while they still get to have whatever iterations they have here. So no, they should not sell it at this time. If about 5 years goes by, and apart from the Amazing Spider-Man 4, and, apart from like Beyond the Spider-Verse and Amazing Spider-Man 4, the only two Spider-Man properties we know coming out right now, not including Spider-Man Noir, which is TV. If 5 years go by and either nothing comes out or they drop the ball again, they decide, oh, you know what they want to see? That Silver and Black movie, Silver Sable and Black Cat movie we're going to do. No, you idiots. I don't know who is over there greenlighting this shit, but you're fired. No, you know what? If you try to argue with me, you don't get your severance pay. Call that legal? I'm going to call my lawyers. That's not true. They get their severance pay. Point being, though, if 5 years comes by, and after Spider-Man 4, and after Beyond Spider-Verse, either nothing comes out, or we still get the next Kraven, Morbius, or Madam Web, I won't necessarily say it is time, but I think I will say they need to consider making some new deals with Marvel, because what they're doing on their own it's insulting to the fans, the people who do appreciate, and the people who want to try to have trust in them when they keep doing this. So, yeah. No, they shouldn't give up Spider-Man to Sony. That's not a good business move right now. And by the way, for the price tag they would have to sell Spider-Man to make it worth it, Marvel would never pay that. Disney would never pay that. So, yeah, because it's just not, it wouldn't be worth it. So right now, no. But 5+ years from now, if things haven't turned the corner, we might be having to have different talks, I think. Because then Sony's Spider-Verse, if they got Spider-Verse going, would be in trouble. Now, the big caveat to all of this is something I said twice, twice before, is that perhaps the reason we haven't heard any announcements, maybe they haven't lined anything up yet, but maybe the reason we haven't heard any announcements is because they are working on a new deal with Marvel. They did say in Venom 3 that they did have more plans for Null. Null is someone you could cross over, because of the way Null's introduced in Venom 3. He's like outside the universe, voids between universes. You could have Null cross into the MCU instead. That could work. Some characters crossing over into the MCU, especially for like a Secret Wars event or something. I'm not saying Null goes into Secret Wars, but I'm just saying maybe what they're doing is, because now there's no evidence to say they're going to stop making Spider-Verse movies. There's nothing saying that's going to happen, but there's just nothing lined up now. Because normally they would have more plans for other movies. But maybe that what they're doing is they're retooling their strategy, thinking of new plans, new stories to tell, and maybe it is in conjunction with Marvel. I don't know for certain. I can only hope, because I want my Null, man. I want my Null. Either way, though, thanks for that's my TED Talk. Thanks for coming by, and that's Kraven the Hunter. Yeah, the longer I sat on this movie, the worse it got in my head. So, yeah, ultimately, that is my thoughts, though. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.